everybody. We are here for the City of Aztec regular City Commission meeting, February 11th, 2020. Judge Gray is going to do the invocation for us, so if you wouldn't mind, please standing.
Let's pray. Lord, gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to meet today. We thank you for this day. Keep bringing the moisture through our place. Be with these commissioners as they go about doing their business before the City of Aztec. As always, be with our fighting women and men overseas and at home who take care of our rights so we can live like this. In Jesus' name we pray.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. All right, good evening, folks. Carla, would you please call the roll? Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Fry.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Randall.
Here.
Commissioner Lewis.
Here.
All present.
Okay, next is agenda approval. If there are any items that do not meet the approval for being read on this evening's agenda, now is the time to remove those items. Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda as given.
Mayor, I move to approve this evening's agenda as given.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Next is consent agenda. Items placed on the consent agenda will be voted on with one motion. If any item proposed does not meet the approval of all commissioners, a commissioner may request that the item be heard under items from consent agenda. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda as given.
Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve this evening's consent agenda as given.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Next is presentations. We have an employee recognition.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and Commission, thank you. I wanted to take the time tonight to recognize the volunteer fire department for the city. We've got one representative here with us, but you know, it's an all-volunteer fire department. The amount of time that they put in daily, weekly, monthly, yearly is quite a lot. But they recently handed out some awards within the department. I wanted to recognize Officer of the Year Randy Martinez. He's not with us tonight, but he's a member of the Volunteer Fire Department. David Barnett, who has served 15 years with the Volunteer Fire Department. And then with us tonight is the Firefighter of the Year, Andrew Eckhoff. So Andrew, if you would please stand and be recognized. Yes. Last time I saw him, he was all decked out nice in his uniform and all that good stuff. But thank you for showing up tonight. We appreciate your service. Andrew also works with the city in the Parks and Recreation Department, doing a great job down there. So just as a whole, we appreciate what you guys do, and just wanted to give you a shout out for doing it. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are you also a former Marine?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Semper Fi. I'm a Marine guy, but it's all good. Thanks for everything you do for Firefighter of the Year, working for the city, and of course, you know, your service to our country as well. So congratulations. Okay. Next, we have citizens input. Let's see. So we have a 3-minute maximum on issues that are not otherwise covered on tonight's agenda. So we have Mr. Lodge and Mrs. Wellborn are up first, and they're here to give us an update on the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, we just want to give you an update. We have the candidate forum.
If you wouldn't mind. I'm sorry.
We've got the candidate forum coming up on February 18th at the Senior Center.
So a week from tonight.
Yeah, we've also got a workshop in the works for sometime in March. We're not 100% sure on the date yet, but we'll have that coming pretty soon. Is there anything else, Sandy?
Can I assume the time is like everything else? It starts at 6?
Yeah.
Okay. Candidate forum at 6 tomorrow at the Senior Center.
Works best for everybody. So.
Did I say tomorrow?
Yeah, you said
Sorry, next Tuesday.
If you're not a member of the chamber, come join. doing all kinds of stuff lately and
Yes,
trying
they
to
are.
get it back up and running. It's going pretty strong right now, and we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Thank you.
It's good to have the chamber active again.
Yeah, I think that's exciting that we have some folks that are breathing new life back into the chamber. It's necessary as we try and grow as a small city, so we have to have a vibrant chamber. So all of you that are starting to do the CPR, so to speak, and get us going, I appreciate it. Thank you for all the work you're doing and the heavy lifting to get us moving again. So, Mrs. Wayborn, did you have anything to add, or did he just put your name down there as a surprise? Okay. Thank you. Okay. And Mr. Lane?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Honorable Mayor, members of the commission, Mr. City Manager. You notice no one ever says hi to the attorney, though.
I know. You're on the same boat across the.
Maybe I should tell an attorney joke for my 3 minutes. You know, the problem with lawyer jokes is lawyers don't think they're funny, and no one else realizes that they're jokes. So I won't tell any. I actually came to just say thanks to Commissioner Sipe. I know that I assume there will be honoring you the next meeting or the first meeting in March, but unfortunately I have travel plans, so I won't be able to be here. So I wanted to come publicly and tell you thank you, because I know you served on the commission for many years. You've done a lot for this community, so just want to say thank you for that.
Made me cry.
Yeah. As you and all the other commissioners know, you don't get paid very much. I'm sure if we were to figure it out, it's probably a quarter of what minimum wage would pay you. But you all do very important work. You know, I think we tend to get fired up about what's going on in Washington, and there's important reasons for that. But if you look at the issues that impact our day-to-day life, oftentimes it's local government that has the biggest impact. And so just want to appreciate what you've done for our community for many years. I don't know how many terms you've served.
12 years,
12 years, yeah.
3
So-
terms.
Who's count?
So 12 years when I was, 14 basically.
Hey,
Not quite, but, so yeah, appreciate you. Sorry I won't be able to come to when you're formally honored, but thank you, so.
well, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lane. And I'm sure we'll have something nice planned. We'll definitely make you cry. In a good way. Okay, that's all we have for citizens input. Moving on to business items. We'll start with business item A, Aztec Motocross presentation and funding request. Mr. Andrew Gallegos.
Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Andrew Gallegos. On behalf of Aztec Motocross, thank you for having me. I just want to start with a few pictures from our past season, 2019. You see to our right is our logo. To the left is what we call our super mini class, starting off the gate. These are some of the kids that won. We try to take pictures of first place. If you look to the, sorry about that, to the right there, we put logos of some of our sponsors, what we call a trophy sponsor. Helps us out with purchasing the trophies throughout the year. Our 50cc class, the little kids, see their dad watching to make sure they're doing their starts right. Then you can see him yelling at him. But if you look in the background, this is what our registration trailer is. First thing in the morning, about 7 o'clock, the racers come up, register. We put the race schedule there on the side, also with the results. They get their trophies there, so important thing right there. And that guy right there is our security guard, JJ with the BLM. He's been to every race, so it's very beneficial. All right. Motocross can teach kids valuable life lessons. Motocross is not a team sport, but it still builds character and discipline. Motocross has many benefits. Here are 7 traits that will help your children throughout their life. Responsibility, mechanical skills, confidence, importance of attitude, family closeness, safety and rules, mental toughness. Motocross is a family sport. Not only does motocross bring track families closer together, but it also brings families closer to other families who race. Families trust each other with things like bike maintenance and support each other in times of emergencies such as breakdowns and injuries. So this is 2019 race week and stats. The first column right here is our practice entries with 498 total throughout the year. And next column is our racers, a total of 739 throughout the year. Then we have race entries with a total of 1,240. That's higher than racers due to the racers can race more than one class, 2 to 3. And pit bike races, 53. We started at the third to last race. It's kind of for bigger kids. We do it on Saturday evening, about 6 o'clock after the races. Between the races and practice Saturday, gives people something to do on the evening of camping and have something fun to do. Gate signatures, 3,329. That's throughout the whole year. That's how many people have showed up to our events total. Spectators, racers, family, everyone. This next is just a graph of all that info. As you can see, it's pretty steady. Our gate signatures jumped around. The summer was kind of down. I don't know. I think a lot of vacations and stuff already planned. But everything else was pretty consistent. Track benefits. Our track is benefiting the Outdoor Recreation Industry Initiative. Some of you may know as ORI. Local sales, repair shops, tourism, and motocross riders locally and regionally. Our track is very unique. It is one of the few in the country that is open to the public at all times with multiple track configurations, a significant elevation change. So here's our income and expenses throughout the year. These first couple months were mostly sponsors. So we started our first race in March. We have some big expenses as insurance, fuel, rentals. Here's a better breakdown of it. But our total income is $61,667.9. Total expenses $67,523, with a net loss of $5,857 of 2019. That's due to I spent $13,000 of my own money towards a water truck, registration, trailer. A lot of overhead costs this first year. Hopefully this next year we'll recoup quite a bit of that. But right now we have $3,000 in the bank with $1,300 of it allocated to advertising from the lodger's tax. We got $2,000 from that, so greatly appreciative of that. This is our last race. Some of the volunteers and workers, a lot are gone, but it takes at least 35 people plus to have a successful event. So, big operation. This was provided by Joshua from the presidential end. Right here where it says tour, that's their promo code for the motocross. We worked out a deal beginning of the season for our riders. They had 529 rooms sold to motocross with a revenue of $33,000. Next slide. Aztec Motocross believes that our events are impacting the local economy with gas, groceries, fuel, and hotel room sales. Our events could turn into one of the biggest outdoor activities in the Four Corners. Attached a letter from the manager Joshua, the presidential end, like him to speak on his behalf. How it impacted the track.
We saw a huge growth in the hotel over last year from the motocross. I mean, if you look at the weekends where they had events for the motocross over last year, the hotel would have maybe 40 to 50% occupancy on a lot of those evenings and weekends, whereas this year, or in 2019, because we had the motocross, we sold out almost every weekend. There was an event for the And so, you know, before we were hotel was relying mostly on the Speedway. When they had races at the Speedway, they'd sell out those weekends. Might be once a month. Motocross, you know, every weekend they had an event, we'd sell out the next weekend for the Speedway event. So it just, I mean, we were up 47% over last year, as a total this year. And a lot of that, I think, can be attributed to the motocross. You know, lots of people come in, for it, and they spend a lot of time in the hotel, they spend a lot of time around town. We send them all over the place when they're in. I mean, Aztec Restaurant, Rubio's, try to keep them local instead of, you know, not necessarily sending them to the chains and stuff. But I mean, it's a great group of people. We didn't have an issue with any of the guests that were there for the motocross. They were all friendly. They all seemed to be having a great time. A lot of them really like Aztec. We've actually, there's several other guests who were from Albuquerque, New Mexico. They're coming up here every week for the motocross, and they, you know, of course, eventually they like to get out of Albuquerque and move to an area like this, because they have a little more freedom. It's a little less crowded, and a lot more to do in terms of outdoor stuff, where they don't have to drive somewhere to do it. They can
Right.
walk out their back door and do it. So I think motocross is a fantastic thing for the city. It's a great thing for business in the city, and all around the board, it's going to raise our receipts taxes, which in turn gives us a better budget, more things we can accomplish with it. So thank you for bringing the motocross back to Aztec. I know it's been a while since they had it really going, but it's going every weekend. You made me look real good.
Thank you, Josh. So, another business, this is out of Farmington, Speed Motorsports, our title sponsor. They've very well benefited from this. Speed Motorsports has begun business since 2009 in Farmington, New Mexico. Throughout the years, we have had busy and slow years. In 2018, we experienced an unusual slow year, all the way to the point that Aztec Motocross announced they may be restarting the race series in Aztec, New Mexico. From that point forward, there has been a new excitement within our industry, and 2019 was a record year for our shop. We have also seen a spike in business from out-of-town customers as people travel to Farmington and find out about Speed and Motorsports. Teaming up with Aztec Motocross has been well worth the investment and time as the motorcycle industry builds monument in the Four Corners area. I personally have not seen this kind of atmosphere since we started our business. That's from Brian Robertson, owner of Speed and Motorsports. So our goal is to be committed to the track at least the next 3 years and further if everything works out. 2020, we have 8 races scheduled already. We'll continue track improvements. Both. So the sign on the right we just put up not too long ago, we're going to have that all decaled with our logo and race schedule this Friday. And then the sign on the left, the starting box is what we call it, in between the gates, but we'll have that all decaled before our first race also. We're also working on other projects. This is a video. This is just a video on a race weekend, race going on. You can see all the people up on top there, campers, spectators. Same thing with over here on the side. Our starting line would be here, registration there, finish line here, but all the spectators and campers down here. So on this slide, I'm going to hand it over to Jeff Blackburn.
So, Mayor and Commission, this is what we're looking at for planning with the motocross track for the future. Our prep plan in 2016 didn't really get into the motocross for planning, but we're revitalizing it and looking at for changes in 2021. And these are some items that we think should be put into that plan and should be considered for funding. So the top one there is water for the track. The hydrant is on one side of the road and the track is on the other. So when Andrew needs to water the track during a race, he has to cross the road and then cross back for each time they fill the truck. So this is a safety issue. We estimated maybe around 20,000. I don't know if that's low or high. I have spoke to Steve about some of the different things we might do there. And there is some planning with some development out there on Navajo Dam Road where this might work in. So that's our number one, our highest priority. Electricity would be nice to be reestablished. There is a pole there, and at one time it did work, but it would be nice for Andrew to have electricity that feeds right into his registration booth, so he doesn't have to run a generator all day. And then something more moderate and closer to the low end is we'd like to see a restroom facility out there. It'd have to be a vault toilet. We'd like to see it have at least 2 stalls for each side, and it would service the track on track days, and then also we're looking at developing Mountain View, which is a little bit to the northeast there. That's our bike trail that we're looking at, and that would service those people out there when they're using those trails at all times as well. RV parking, possibly with some spaces and water and electric. And then if we really began to grow the facility, we'd like to get into lighting and security, and lighting for security, and then maybe some grandstands. So that number's kind of hard to read, but the total there is around 300,000. We're not asking for that tonight, it's just a budget number.
We're glad.
But if you wanted to give that tonight, it's just for planning, and we want you to know this is available if we are talking about ICIP or budget planning, or if we're going to the state looking for different funds. The second thing I wanted to mention is about a year and a half ago, Andrew came and approached us about taking over the track. And since that time, I've worked with him really closely, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of meetings in the evening. And I can vouch for the integrity of this group. This is a good group of people who's out there really taking on a tough challenge. It's something that's in their DNA, and they're really excited about getting this done. So I just like to tell you that if we're supporting this, and we're supporting it with Andrew as our leader out there, that our money's not being wasted. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Just a quick clarification too, Jeff mentioned the PREP plan, which is the Parks and Recreation Enhancement Plan, which last done in 2016, typically updated every 5 to 10 years or so.
That's available if you want to read it. It's on the
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
And that's it for the slideshow. I did request $5,000 undiscretionary funds last week, so you guys should have that.
Yeah, we do.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
hopefully get that vote approved on.
All right.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions while Mr. Gallegos is still at the podium? Any
I do.
specific questions? Yes, ma'am?
What are you gonna use the 5,000 for? It says something about modifying the track or doing work on it, or equipment?
Our
or
main
something.
goal is equipment. So right now we get a lot of equipment donated
Okay,
from sponsors, but if they don't have it, we're out of luck.
yeah,
And so our goal is to get that, because we have to have equipment to put on a race. So right now that's our priority.
okay,
That's what it would be used towards, is to buy our own equipment.
okay.
And we're not dependent on someone else.
Just for clarification, what type of?
Yeah, I was going to say, could you specify, give a few
So-
examples?
I bought a water truck, that's first priority, and then we need a tractor, and then a ripper and tiller. Those are our main components right there.
Okay.
Just for clarification, this, and Tyson, you might need to weigh in on this one. In the past, the commission has given money for maintenance of, not specifically to buy equipment. And I'm not sure how that looks as far as the legality, I guess, of it, is given money to purchase equipment, and who owns that equipment after it's purchased, so on and so forth. So just wanted to put that out there. In the past, it's just been a donation for
Operations and,
yeah.
I think that's probably what it would need to be as well. And
Specify as
yes, I mean, if we're starting to buy
general operations
equipment,
or
then we're
something
gonna
like that.
look at
Yeah.
procurement issues
Right.
and stuff like that.
Right.
We can utilize that money for operations.
Right, of course,
You know,
yeah.
the other income for equipment.
What do you do out there to maintain, I guess, the beauty of the area and the actual land itself to make sure that it's in the same condition that you got it in?
So we do pick up trash after every race and usually before. Like I said, many as you know, it's open to the public, which is rare. So we do pick up a lot of trash. We do burn some weeds. We usually do that before every race, get it all kind of cleaned up. I do work full-time job also, so it's tough too.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Gallegos? Any other comments before we kind of open up for discussion about approval or not of a particular amount or at all?
Sounds like it's really growing and,
Mhm.
and it's a good, healthy activity, family activity, like you said, and so, yeah, that's good.
I
I'm glad to
mean,
see it growing.
I grew up going, and I'm not from the region originally, I'm from the northeast of the country, and we used to go to motocross races. My dad was kind of a shade tree amateur racer when I was a little kid, and, you know, we would load up in the little Toyota pickup truck, 5 abreast in a 2-seater, and head out to Utica and watch international races. You know, this is like Bob Hanna, Roger DeCoster days when I was like 5 years old. So I still have, you know, I don't race motocross. I don't really participate in watching it anymore, but I think it's exciting that somebody is willing to, you know, kind of like the chamber. Somebody's willing to breathe new life back into it, and I think that's exciting. It hits everything that we're trying to do in Aztec. Outdoor recreation, we're filling our hotels, we're getting people to come, which will hopefully, you know, inspire more people to, you know, be entrepreneurs and open up coffee shops and restaurants, and you know, it's diversifying the economy, and it's not going to be a one-for-one where we replace every single energy job with a motocross flyer job kind of thing, but it's a piecemeal approach that's going to help us, you know, weather some economic storms in the future and grow. And, you know, this could become the area that's known for motocross in the Four Corners region, and, you know, the place to be on the weekends every summer. And I think that's exciting. So,
Mr. Mayor, I'm impressed by what is already done.
yeah, I mean,
By the
for basically
increase
nothing.
in the hotel bookings and the restaurant use and so on and so forth. That's impressive all on its own right there.
I mean, how many folks, I mean, some of you might because you're here, but how many really were aware that there was a big race series going on this past year? A couple of us, but a lot of us are like, it's fairly new, right? So just imagine if we were able to put a little bit of, you know, a little bit of funding and a little bit of effort behind this and really kind of work towards, you know, shining a light on this. I think that we have a lot of potential, you know. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to add one thing, the numbers from the hotel. That is just people who called and booked directly through the hotel and got that motocross rate.
Not necessarily Priceline or something like that, or,
There were probably
yeah.
dozens of other people
Yeah.
who booked through Booking.com, Expedia,
Right.
Priceline, and I have no way of tracking, you know,
Yeah.
necessarily if they're hooked to motocross.
Cool.
To the rate plan, so.
And that's interesting. That's an interesting point because I know I don't book a hotel unless it's on like Expedia or something, so it's hard to track that stuff, but you can imagine what,
It's safe to say that
10 to 20% more maybe?
90%,
Yeah.
probably even close to another, $12,000 to $15,000 was added to that total of 33 pieces, right? So, I mean, that's big.
So conservatively, 47% increase, you know, and possibly more. So, I mean, I think that's important, you know, for someone to actually say this is kind of the bottom line thing that we are seeing as a business, you know, that it's a concrete number that we can point to, so that's very helpful. I don't know, anybody else?
No.
Commissioner Randall, anything? Anybody? I think we're good. So, okay, well, thank you, and we reserve the right to ask you another question here in a second, but I think we're good as far as questions or comments. We can have a quick discussion. It sounds like we're kind of already in it.
Well, as you mentioned, the recreation is what we've talked about supporting and bringing to Four Corners, so I say give them the 5,000.
Yeah, that takes on a lot of different forms, and this
Yeah.
is just one way
Absolutely.
to do it. Not everybody's
agree.
gonna hike or ride mountain bikes. There's plenty of that, but this is another way to get people out, and I think it's awesome.
And we have the funds still available.
Yeah,
And
and
it'll
we
still
have
leave
it.
us, and it'll
Yeah.
still leave us a little
We'll
bit
have a
more in
little bit
case
of
somebody else
right.
comes with another
Right.
True.
request, so that's good.
I mean, it's this fiscal year anyway, so we're getting,
We're about halfway,
Towards the
a little
leeway.
over halfway through, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm ready for a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to move to approve funding to Aztec Motocross LLC in the amount of $5,000.
second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Carla, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Snyder,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Price,
Aye.
Commissioner Slide,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
Commissioner Randall,
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations. Business item one is intent to adopt ordinance 2020-500, amending chapter 16, section 16-211, solid waste. Mr. Mueller?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, Commission. The agenda title is intent to adopt ordinance 2020-500, amending chapter 16, division 3, section 16-211, solid waste rates. This goes back to a workshop we did a couple of weeks ago. Back in December, Waste Management submitted the CPI index adjustment pursuant to the contract. They also included a Samuel County landfill disposal fee cost that had increased from the county, and that is reflected in the rate change as well. During the workshop, we discussed a number of scenarios as far as increasing the number of times to recycle per month, closing the recycle center, possibility of adding at your door service for pickup of hazardous waste. In your packet, you have the residential impact exhibit, and from left to right, beginning with number 1, you'll see first off, the current rate is in blue at the far left. That's what we are currently paying. As you move from left to right, 1 through 10, it addresses some of the additions, subtractions.
If I could quickly, if anybody's looking for it, it's on page 113 on your iPad, if you want to get to that. And
iPad alert.
yeah.
So, once again, moving left to right, 1 to number 10, there are associated fees that might exit or be added to the bill, and the total residential bill is toward the bottom, across from left to right.
Okay.
So in each one of those columns, there are different scenarios that affect the price of the residential waste service per month. On the intent to adopt itself, there is a motion toward the end that the first motion would be to approve all the increases, which would be column number 10.
Okay.
The second motion would be made, if you so choose, to pick and choose between the 1 through 5 options. So if you move to approve with including the following adjustments, items 1, 2, 4, and 5, so on and so forth, that's how the rate would be based on the exhibit. Does that make sense?
So if we want to do everything, we would say option 10, that would be the first motion, that would encompass option 10.
Correct.
And if we wanted to do something more à la carte, so to speak, we will be able to, and I guess I'm asking Carla and Mr. Gobble as well, just to be safe on this, would it be acceptable to say option 4, and then maybe read the options, like CPI, move operating expenses to rate, recycled twice, et cetera?
I think as long as you identify which option you're making in the motion, and we
Okay.
can, if that's how you want to identify them, as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with the numbers that are on the top, I think as long as we're clear on the record, I'd be good with that.
Okay.
Ms. Saylor?
All right. Okay, is everybody tracking on that, I think I get it. I hope everybody.
That's what you're asking, right, Mayor?
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, so with that said, we can,
Yeah, we'll stand for any questions. Other staff's available if you have any. Have any questions to address them. Dan Darnell with Waste Management is here as well.
okay. And this is kind of what we had asked for at the workshop, is to kind of break it down with several options for us to kind of look at and weigh the maybe additional cost or not, you know. So it kind of spells it out pretty well, but we can, you know, certainly discuss as a commission what we think would be the best move forward as far as, you know, bang for your buck, so to speak. You know, maybe a little bit additional service or whatever you guys think, and we can figure that out. So we'll go ahead and open that up for discussion. Who wants to start?
Well, I can mention the things that I would like to see altered besides the ordinance itself. I think we should close the convenience center. That would be effective February 29th. I feel like we should keep the recycling to one time a month until we have a larger number of people participating. Then I would jump to add at your door hazardous waste service to all residential customers and eliminate the 2-time per e-waste event that was costing the city quite a bit of money. And then I would keep the residential access to the landfill to 6 times, and 12 seems excessive to me. I think 6 is a pretty good
Okay.
service
So
to the community.
you almost described number 4. The only difference is, and I was just looking, because what I looked at, and this is just my 2 cents, or in this case on the chart, 60 cents, seems like kind of the best, and you know, I don't know what best is in this, but to me, kind of the best service for your money. And I like the idea of an extra recycling day personally, but that's me, and I'm of the mindset, and I guess we won't know unless we try it, but I feel like I think that might actually encourage more people to recycle, because there's, you know, I mean, for example, I was telling Dan before the meeting, I was out of town Friday, and I forgot to call my niece, who was dog sitting for me, and say, hey, roll the car up, you know, on Friday, and if you miss it, you know, you're kind of in a pickle unless you want to, you know, try and get another pickup and all that. And so with an extra one, it's kind of one of those things. If you forget your trash can and it's not overflowing, you can wait another week, it's not going to kill you, kind of thing. But if you miss recycling, or if we were only picking up trash once a month, that could become an issue. Now, granted, trash and recycling are 2 separate things. You don't have rotted food and all that stuff in there, but the concept is similar, I think. I mean, I don't know. I'm happy to discuss further, or if anybody has another counterpoint or another point to add.
Mr. Mayor, I was noticing, since it was picked up last Friday, I actually remembered to put my cart out on Thursday before I left. But mine is already 3/4 full again.
Yeah.
Because I had a bunch of stuff in the house that couldn't fit in my recycling cart.
Right.
So I think maybe twice a month is not going to hurt us at all. I might encourage people to use it. I like number 4 or number 3 because it has a very minimal impact as far as on folks' bills. They won't see a huge increase on their bill. It's either 0 or 60 cents. Either way is okay. So I'm kind of happy with either of those.
And the 12, with option 3, you get 12 trips to the landfill.
Oh, that's true.
But with option 4, you keep the 6, but you get the extra curbside recycling service as well.
Right.
Let's see, what is that? The at your door hazardous waste is included. Is that what that says?
Correct, on
So-
number 4.
Right. So, and I don't know. I mean, I I don't drive around and see what people are putting out in their trash every week, but I feel like maybe those things are maybe more Aztec centric, you know, as far as hazardous waste things, you know, folks with oil or, you know, I don't know what other things that would be considered hazardous waste, paint cans, things like that, especially this time of year as it starts warming up a little bit. I don't know, that's just kind of, I feel like that's a nice happy medium to add a little bit of service and still keep our rates without them spiking up like the whole enchilada over here, almost $6 a month, which adds up after a while, you know. For some of us, $6 is one less cup of coffee. Others, it's, you know, it's dinner that night, you know. So I think that's, I don't know, on the more conservative side with number 4. That's just my personal take on it.
See, I'm almost on the same page as Roslyn with, or sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, with if only a quarter of them are using the service, going to twice a month. I mean, it's working for the people that are using it, but it's only a quarter of us that are using it. I
Which
mean,
is kind of the idea, though.
but,
is to
and
get
also
more
at
people
the
to
at
use
your
it.
door service, if we can't really get the people to use the recycling, are they even going to use the at your door service, like the extra cost? Like, that's my problem with, I mean, if they're hardly using the recycling, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of response on the at your door, even though, again, everyone's going to be paying for it. But how many are actually going to use it? I mean,
I think,
I really like the at your door adding 60 cents. I could probably,
60 cents and
because it's 64 cents for the at your door service, correct?
Right.
Is the addition for that.
yes.
And then an extra, what was it, 81 cents for the second pickup, correct? Correct. I think.
Am I missing, is there not an option
There's not.
to not have at your door, but have
We'd have to just kind of do it
2 times
ourselves.
a month recycling?
It's an option
That's
two.
maybe split that. Item 2.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Which would
having to
lower the
remember
overall
this.
rate by 4
Right.
cents
Correct.
and still add
So-
the second month.
CPI, close a convenience center, recycle twice a month, don't keep the 6 times a month, or, I'm sorry, 6 times a year landfill, close a convenience center, I already said that, and that's really, yeah, that's the difference, right, between,
That's the difference.
yeah, well, that makes sense, because it's 64 cents, sorry,
Pulling
thanks for
out
the math there.
Pulling out the at your door service.
Yeah, that's, so,
you
2 is
recycle.
taking away the hazardous waste at your door service, is that,
Correct.
I'm making sure I'm.
And still leaving it twice a month.
Yes.
Right,
and decreasing the cost by 4 cents.
right.
You'd actually be
I like that one even better.
Instead of 60, instead of 60.
I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not, you know, I'm not like married to any of these. I think we can still,
I mean, what was the draw for the at your door service? I'm just curious. I mean,
No.
it would be great, and if we could get everyone on board, I mean, it's an awesome service. I just don't know
If it would be used that much to,
to
to
justify.
put it on
the-
everybody,
Justify that,
64
yeah.
cents.
right, right,
Right.
to add it to everybody.
I mean, if everyone knew about it, and it'd be great, but it was just history showing it's hard to get
It
that.
sounds like you're getting
Here
ready
comes
to
the man.
chime in on this.
Here she comes.
And I think
We
with
have
all,
our subject matter expert. Thank
with all
you.
of these services, I think we're still in the phase to where we're getting the information out,
Right.
but it's getting people
Oh, I know.
trained
Right, right.
to use some of the services that are provided.
Correct.
So if I may, maybe help answer your question that I
Yes, ma'am.
ignored. Dan, I asked him to help me if I'm not speaking correctly, but at your door service is 12 times a year, so once a month you can call up and have them come pick up your waste oil, your paint, your batteries, your electronics, those type of materials.
Right.
So right now, if we do it with keeping the e-waste events, which is the electronics, we've only offered that to the city twice since we started with waste management. It's $1.15. If we get rid of the e-waste event and have the at your door service, it's 64 cents. If we close the convenience center and the recycle center, where does the waste go to then? So like your oils, your paints, I mean, some of them are already getting thrown in those dumpsters already. So then they have to go to the landfill or go someplace else with them.
Or they have to call for a special pickup.
Or
Is
a
that
bulky item
fair?
pickup,
Yeah.
which we already get 2 times a year
Mm-hmm.
in our cities already. but that's kind of where the at-your-door service comes into play as well. So if you
Right.
take away the convenience center, maybe this gives another opportunity that it's at your door, come pick up my paint, come pick up my oil, that type of thing, so, for 64 cents. I don't know how many would use it, but,
That's my whole thing, is it's just.
Yeah.
but if we're gonna.
But we don't know that they
take
won't
away-
either, if
we
they,
don't
if
know.
you take away one thing and replace it with an even more convenient option. I mean,
Right,
I
if
don't
you-
know.
And if you take away the convenience center, you know, that gives them another opportunity that they have a place to throw their trash and their hazardous waste.
But they could take it to the dump, right? I mean,
'Cause it-
this is just the convenience of having to basically come to the door and pick it up.
No, so let me explain. The at-your-door service includes two things: the household hazardous waste, the paints, the pesticides, the herbicides, the things that you collect in your garage, and you don't know what to do with them. That's the one part. The other part is any kind of e-waste. So in your contract, you have 2 events per year that are e-waste events. Okay? You don't have a HHW event. So those things end up being dumped in your garbage, they end up in the landfill, they end up in your watershed, and so on. So what at your door is, it's a way to conveniently clean out your garage. You're not gonna use it every month. We don't have anybody that uses it every month. But this is one of the most successful programs that we instituted in Rio Rancho. That's where we actually originated this, was in Rio Rancho. And I might add a couple more things. First of all, the bulky waste pickup does not deal with HHW. If you call us and we're coming over and we have household hazardous waste that has to be handled by, in certain ways by, those who are certified to handle those types of products, we're gonna say, sorry, we can't take that. You got a fridge that's free of Freon, you got an old stove, you got a couch, we'll pick those up. But so bulky is not designed for this type of material. And so it ends up in our landfill. It ends up, being hidden in the trash, and, it's caused a real issue.
Because they're like, I'm not gonna put this back in my garage, I'm just gonna,
Yeah, I don't know
So,
what to do
you know,
with it, so it goes
right.
in that green can.
right.
I will also point out that a new recycling site and having a 25% participation rate is not a bad thing. That's actually, you're gonna grow on that. And whether you stay at once a month and every other week operationally, is easier to put those routes together, but, that's my headache, not yours. But I will tell you that you can build on 25%. So I'm encouraged that it's that high in a new
That's
program.
good to hear, yeah.
And you will see in 2-3 years, that number will be up around 60%.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
So it builds.
Thanks.
And the only other thing that I have is, if you decide to go with an at-your-door, we would handle the communications plan. So basically, we would use all the avenues that we did originally, including inserts, as Delaine's been so kind to allow us that avenue. Social networking, newspaper, you really get the word out. People have to know about it, or they, aren't gonna use it.
So on the household hazardous waste, can you take it during one of the 6 or 12 trips to landfill?
No.
You can't take hazardous waste to the landfill.
Well, you can hide it in your trash, and if they don't see it.
There's not a separate spot to take the hazardous waste at the
No.
landfill.
No.
It's only if we do the at your door.
Yeah, so you can see kind of the impetus of the
Right.
creation of the program.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for either of them at the moment? We might call you back up, but thank you.
I guess I do for Delane real fast. So if there's like an option,
Yeah.
is it possible to do an option 11?
It's possible that
Let's
if
go
any
down-
of those items on that list,
I was gonna
that's
say to
in the
go-
staff summary,
Okay.
pick and choose, like you pick the one-time recycling, the at your door, not at your door, whatever options you choose, what we'll do with the, rate ordinance is just change the rates within the ordinance. But yeah, so we can create another option if you decide it's not one of these. I didn't choose the one-time recycling with all the different scenarios, cause there's so many different scenarios that
Right.
are done.
I didn't know if that affected the rate for the at your door though. If we go to one time, you know, just like as
The only thing
Rosalind
that's gonna
described.
affect their rate with, at your door is if you continue the e-waste events. So they do those
Okay.
2 times a year where they bring a truck from Albuquerque and load it up with all the TVs and electronics. If you keep that, that will change the at your door, that would be $1.15.
Yeah, okay.
If we
I see.
discontinue those, it'd be 64 cents.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
64 cents if you do the at your door.
And get rid of the e-waste.
So it'd be
events.
option
And get
4.
rid of the, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
those
So we're
e-waste
kinda-
events cost
So
about
it's
18,000 a piece.
Pretty
we're
minimal expense.
Kind of back to option 4.
Yeah,
And the,
and option 4 gives us pretty much everything at a 60 cents increase.
Okay. Does anybody else, not to belabor the point, I mean, we can talk about it. I'm happy to talk about it more if anybody has anything else they want to ask of Delane or
We
any
can
other,
create any kind of scenarios you want.
any questions or
based on this.
scenarios. So we got some math going on here.
it's,
So it's 51 cents for the e-waste? Is that basically what it costs? So it's 115 minus 64 would be the
Well-
cost of the e-waste events?
Should be like 50, yeah.
Yeah, I get, well, because we're gonna have the e-waste and the, at your service. Yeah.
That would be part of the
It's
service.
built in our trash
Yeah.
rates right now. So part of that 1506 right now, that's all built into, well, is our $14, the e-waster.
So the at your door includes,
At your door is an addition.
right, but it includes those types of
That
waste,
service,
household,
yes.
hazardous household waste,
Yeah.
Right.
and,
Is that what the
right.
definition is?
and the e-waste,
HHW, as he called it.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Rid of your
Um,
cell phones.
I mean, I'm not, I still am kinda at option 4 personally. You know, I don't know if anybody else has changed their opinion or where we're at. Are we ready to maybe,
Well, for the cost of.
Well, I would say, so, if we go back to what Mayor Pro Tem had initially said, you know, reducing it to once a month, that would just option 4, it would cut it down by 81 cents, which would actually be a discount of negative 21 cents a month. Because option 4 includes the twice a month recycling, so if we just leave it at the
Right.
once a month,
Right.
we're back down to,
God, man, I would love to have
But
twice
it's
a month.
just-
I just,
Yeah, it'd
At,
be a
at that,
decrease of
at
21
that
cents.
cost, it's not worth worrying about,
so it would be a
60.
net of, yeah, okay.
yeah.
so it'd be, negative
Yeah,
21.
I'm
basically.
saying I'll go with the 2 times a month if it's just, this list is just gonna change by 60 cents.
We'll change by 81 cents.
Yeah, to decrease their bills by 21 cents if you stayed with one
Right.
time, got rid of the e-waste events, closed this convenience center, and stayed with one-time recycling and kept the CPI.
it would decrease their bill 21
By
cents.
21
21
cents,
cents.
right. I just have a really hard time, and I understand the need for a lot of people, I mean, even mine gets close to full, and I've never recycled before, you know, I'm sure I could find more, I just can't get past the mental block, even though, you know, 25% may seem great, if only a quarter of them are using it, adding another pickup, I mean, I know it seems minimal, that we're down to cents, but it's just,
This is just my personal too, is I think it's just new program.
oh, I know.
We haven't
but-
had it for a year, and I can tell you that, even with Ken, you guys know Ken, he's kinda, we have more recycling. I'm still picking stuff out of the trash that they throw away in my household.
Yeah, yeah.
Recycling.
Yeah.
I think in more times, it will.
And the kids are
I
all
feel
being
like
taught
that
to recycle
encourages,
too.
I mean, that's just my opinion, and I know we differ a little bit on this, but I feel like that, in the long run, is going to encourage more people to recycle because they have more opportunities to do it, and it's not one of those things where, oh my God, I forgot it, and now it's sitting there for another month. And then you start throwing your recyclables in your trash because you have a full recycling bin, and then that habit never gets kind of solidified. If you make a mistake and you forget, like I did last week, I know that in a couple weeks I can probably gut it out for a little while and be a little more careful with my trash. I'm lucky to have an extra one, so I have an extra one at my disposal, but not everybody does, you know, but I think that starts to form that habit, and over time, like Dan had said and Delane had said, that we'll start increasing over the years to where we have, where it's balanced out more, and it'll be worth it. That's just my,
Not to throw another cog
2
in the wheel
cents.
too, but we also do have the other side. I wanna just present the good side, but we also have the other side that people, like, why am I paying for this? I don't use it. So there is that still there, but it's the philosophy of,
Just as a citizen,
Of course.
if you want more than one recycling container, can you have one?
yes.
But it would cost you more
You have to
money.
pay extra
Well,
per
yeah,
month.
to the individual, no, not to everybody.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because
I
it's
just-
another, what is it?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, it'll encourage people to recycle, but having two pickups encourages the people that are already using them to recycle more. To me, the only way I would encourage people that aren't recycling, aren't using it, is because we're basically charging you for 2 pickups now that you're still not using, start using. I understand everyone's side of it, but I didn't even think of what the judge said, it's, if it is overflowing, you can pay to get another one, and it doesn't spread it across everybody, it's just for you, so.
To the people that are recycling, but it costs them more in the long run to get that second bin.
Right.
But like you said, it's not spreading, it's
Doesn't go
only
to
spreading to
everybody.
the people that use it, not to everybody.
I would just feel better with the 21-cent decrease to the overall bill than the 60-cent increase. If we're getting rid of the recycling center, it's like, well, while we're getting rid of something, how is my bill going up 60 cents instead of going down if we're getting rid of that $2.35?
I have a question. But getting rid of the convenience center, do we have a plan for the people that don't use stuff like that? They always use the convenience center, like dumping outside of the gates, dumping it out of public parks. You guys don't think that'll rise?
Oh, probably will.
We've had that discussion, yeah, I know, it's a worry.
Because I do a lot up at the, for cheerleading and softball, and that's always an inconvenience when you're trying to raise money for your team, seeing a whole bunch of trash.
Yeah, there's no perfect answer for any of this stuff, but at the end of the day, what we've been doing as a city is we've been supplementing through that convenience center a lot of outside of the city residents and we're providing their recycling and their dumpster service for them. And while you can make the argument that might increase dumping out in the hills and things like that, that's always, I don't personally think that somebody is going to make that leap from going to a convenience center to driving out in the desert and dumping it. There are going to be some people that will do that. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's fair to ask the citizens of Aztec to supplement everybody else's convenience, that are outside of the city. I think it's our job to, and yeah, there's not a perfect solution, but I think it's our primary responsibility is to do our best when it comes to trying to, take care of our folks here that are paying for this service out of their hard-earned money. So that's the line we have to walk, and there's going to be folks that abuse that. There always are, unfortunately. We're just going to have to do our best to try and police that up, maybe literally and figuratively, and get people in the habit of using their curbside recycling option and their once a month pickup, and start using the services that they're already paying for, and to take advantage of them instead of just kind of keeping the old habits that we have established. Habits are hard to break. We're humans. But that's, my take on it. So I appreciate the question.
So, Delane, just for my clarification, if we close the convenience center, stay with the 1 time per month recycling, and the 6 times per year at the dump, I believe is what you said, and add the at-your-door services, it would go down 21 cents.
Correct.
No, is that right?
we pay now, yes.
It would go down 21 cents.
You said close the convenience center, if you're right.
I said, yeah, close the convenience center, 1 time a month recycling, stick with the 1 time a month for right now. The 6 times per year, free dump at the dump, and then the at your door, hazardous waste and e-waste, right?
And eliminate the e-waste.
Oh, it would,
Discontinue the events.
and discontinue the, right.
Right.
But we would still have both of the at your door e-waste and the at your door hazardous waste, right?
Yes.
but shut down the twice-a-year things. And that would make their bill go down 21 cents a month.
So that's number 4 without, or with just recycling one time a month.
Okay, yeah. That sounds right. See, I kind of like the idea of giving them, like, actually going down a little bit on their bill. And I know the
But which
sentence
services-
two times,
I'm
but
sorry.
then if they want the second recycling bin,
They could get another one.
I don't know.
Or have an extra.
Or if you want to get at your door service, you could currently also call and have that added as well.
You can also go to the landfill and take your recycles too. We have those 6 times free a year.
Right. If you were,
If you're really
Overflowing.
But not with your e-waste, I mean, your hazardous waste.
No,
Right.
just the recycling.
I think, yeah, I mean, and I do understand everybody's point of view, and we always try and strike the balance that we can. I still do think option 4, for the overall amount of services, is kind of it is a 60-cent increase, but it gives a little bit of something to everybody. Whether you're somebody that has hazardous waste pickup and you're not sure what to do with it, if you are somebody that is an avid recycler, you are also getting something from this to where you can recycle more. And again, I've already made my point, or what I think is my point, on the potential to increase the use of that service if we have more available to us. And we close the convenience center, so we're not supplementing half of the county, sometimes it seems like. And we're doing away with the e-waste events, but we're still getting the curbside kind of convenience of the once a month at your door.
I also want to add to that, we're still going to have the community-wide events twice a year, where we do the cleanups, and they can take them to their big roll-offs every year, twice a year, we'll still have that, and the yard waste,
Yeah,
twice a year.
I feel like
In
it's
addition
a
to
good
all
mix
this.
of services for a pretty small increase at the end of the day.
Yeah, but that small increase is only benefiting the percentage of the 25%
For now.
to have a full bin. I don't know for now, but we're gonna revisit this, probably next year when they come again. I mean, and I'm not against, adding another one once it gets busier, but it just feels like adding twice a month recycling, so there's only a quarter that are using it now, and I'm not sure what that percentage is. There's no way to tell what percentage is totally full or could use it twice a month. It just feels like it's a percentage of people that are gonna benefit, like all utility customers are gonna be helping out a percentage of people right now. And we're not,
I mean, you can make that argument about anything. I could counter and say, well, I don't need my trash picked up every week, because I don't. My trash gets picked up, I put it out there once a month.
yeah, well, if we had an option of cutting back our trash services.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying, but we don't. But we will eventually, I feel like, get to that point. I mean, where it'll be more like some of the European countries that are so congested and crowded, and they have to start doing different, looking at trash differently. We're not there yet because we're still much larger and we have more space. But their trash gets picked up every other week, and the recycling is every other week, and they have different bins for all this. And I'm not saying we're there. I'm not suggesting we should go there right now. But you can make both of those very good arguments on both sides of that point, that there's folks that would say, well, I don't want to pay for my trash to get picked up every week,
Just need
but
to-
I'm being told I have to.
I was going to
you
interrupt
know.
you there too, it's by state statute too, that
Right.
trash is picked up once a week.
No, I get that. But, you could say, well, I don't need that service, so why do I have to pay for it? You can make that argument on just about anything. And that's why I just feel like this is kind of a happy medium. And that's all I'm saying. I totally understand what you're saying. I appreciate your point.
And Mayor, it's a good 60 cents to a lot of us, doesn't sound like a whole lot of money, but we have a whole lot of residents that 60 cents is gonna be a lot. Our senior population, our fixed income population keeps growing, and that's a lot of money to them, to some of them, that are just barely getting by now, and we've had to raise some of our rates, and it's always caused a big, so, I don't know. It's a concern, because, like, for some of us, 60 cents is not a big deal, but there are people in Aztec that 60 cents is a huge deal. So, I'm like, if we can give them back a little bit, I'm for that. Even though I could use the twice a month recycling too.
Okay. Who's ready to make a motion?
Yep. Mayor, I move to approve the intent to adopt ordinance 2020-500, amending Chapter 16, Division 3, Section 16-211, solid waste and recycling rates with the following adjustments. Close the convenience center effective February 29th, 2020, and add at-your-door hazardous waste service to all residential customers and eliminate the two times a year per e-waste event.
So we're essentially saying option 4 minus the additional recycling pickup. Is that?
Correct, that's,
That's what I,
And we can adjust that in the language. I just want to make sure we're not,
Just as long as we're clear
Right.
on what that is
okay.
with the motion.
Is everybody clear on that?
Man.
So I'll
Okay.
second it.
So we have a motion and a second. Carl, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Snover,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fry,
Aye.
Commissioner Sykes,
Aye.
Commissioner Randall,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Delane.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Business item C, intent to adopt ordinance 2020-501, amending Chapter 2, Administration, Division 6, Municipal Judge.
yes, sir, Mr.
Mr.
Mayor.
Mueller.
What we're looking to do in that is clarify the language. When we originally changed the pay structure for the judge, it was not clear as to when that increase would happen. So we went back, took a look at it, and clarified it to read that the salary adjustment would occur during the election cycle for the municipal judge. So it's not every year, it's every 4 years when that election cycle comes around.
Okay.
And I would also state the old ordinance did have a lot of ambiguity to it, and to the judge's credit, he was very helpful in getting that fixed, and Ms. Lamb, so I think it's a good thing. I've looked at the language, and I've looked at the prior language. I think it cleans it up quite a bit.
Okay. Go ahead and open up for discussion and questions. Seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions or discussion on this business item?
No.
No.
Okay. In that case, I'll close it to discussion and entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Sure.
I move to approve intent to adopt ordinance 2020-501, amending Chapter 2, Administration Division 6, Municipal Judge.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Carla, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Snover,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fry,
Aye.
Commissioner Sykes,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
Commissioner Randall,
Aye.
motion passes 5-0.
Okay. That is it for business items. We'll go on to Commissioner, City Manager, and Department reports. Mr. Mueller?
Yes, sir, I'll be sweet. Attended the New Mexico Municipal Day last week with most of the commission here. Good information, talked to some people up there, well, almost all. And that's it, just, I think it was a successful trip all the way around.
Okay.
And thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Gobble?
I did get notice of the Municipal League's district meeting in March. I do, hopefully I can attend. I have to look at my calendar, but I'm anticipating going to that. Other than that, I have nothing else to report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sype?
Same thing, I attended the Municipal League Legislative Day, and I also think it was productive, and it was good to, we talked to Representative Bandy and Senator Neville, just touching base with them. And then this week, tomorrow I have Northwest Mexico Seniors, a lot going on there right now. And then I've got to double check on EDAB. I got a thing from Stephen that he said it's this Thursday, but I think it's normally supposed to be the next Thursday. So Erica's going to clarify that, and then I do have MPO next week. So that's it. Thanks.
Okay. Commissioner Lewis?
Well, it was also a pleasure to attend the Municipal League Day last week. And besides the Representative Bandy and Senator DeVille, I also got a chance to talk for a little bit with Lieutenant Governor Morales about some of the issues we're facing. So that was kind of good, too. It's always amazing when you see our legislature at work. It's amazing anything you can get done with everything going on, but it's crazy. Aside from that, I think we don't have anything coming up. Our next Water Commission meeting isn't until March, so I think we're good there. That's it.
Okay. Commissioner Randall?
I did not attend the municipal day. I'm the most comment. Thank you, Steve.
Sorry, Commissioner.
No, that's fine. I did go fishing this weekend, and on a fishing report, Tiger Park and actually Riverside, they put a bunch of trout in Tiger Park and some in Riverside, and the fishing's hot right now up there on green garlic power bait and the hatchery pellet power bait. Because there are a bunch of hatchery fish that just got in. You go to your favorite, bait shop if it's a hatchery pellet. Anyways, but I've been told at least one or two people like my fishing report, so I'll throw that out there.
Okay.
I did attend a meeting last night at Feet of Clay with some small business owners that showed up, and some good conversations were had at that meeting. And it's the big thing is the chamber getting back together again is going to be a big plus for the city. I think that's the big word around town. So looking forward to that getting started up, and looking forward to the forum next week. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
I too attended the Municipal League Legislative Day and met with Representative Bandy and Senator Neville, and I appreciated Commissioner Sipes' report on the issues with seniors and the food program, and hopefully they seem to think that they would help with that and resolve those issues. This morning I went to San Juan County Partnership Board meeting, and there was an audit presentation as they're transitioning to a new person, and everything was in order for the San Juan County Partnership.
Thank you.
That's it.
I too went to New Mexico Municipal League Legislators Day last week. It's always, and as you do this, I mean, a couple of us have only been up here a couple of years. Commissioner Sipe has been here significantly longer on the commission, but it's always kind of cool. If I were around a little bit, last year the weather was a little inclement, so myself and Mr. Saavedra made it down there. But I try and kind of stay within a few arm's lengths of Commissioner Sipe because she knows every single person in the entire state. And she introduced me to a couple of folks this year, which was very gracious of her. And it's always kind of interesting to see the activity around the roundhouse and the different activities going on in the rotunda, whether it be protests or just, advocacy, things like that. It's exciting to see. And so I enjoyed that. I want to just encourage folks to come to the forum next week.
Yes.
Over at the Senior Center, 6 p.m. on the 18th. I know there's a few candidates in here. It's exciting to, the process is what we make of it. If we get involved and we find out what's going on and what everybody's about that's running, it's important because all politics is local is what they say, right? So, and we have some exciting things going on here in the city. I'm encouraged by, we have folks running, we have the chamber, we have the motocross track. I think we're kind of cresting a hill here in Aztec, and I hope we keep our momentum up. I want to thank Commissioner Sipe specifically and individually about her leadership on the senior funding, kind of shining a brighter light on it. And that's how things get done, is you advocate for the things that are important to you. And I think we can all say that feeding people, and especially the elderly in our area, is a huge priority. But in our daily lives, we oftentimes don't think of it because it doesn't affect us maybe in our day right now today. So it's important that we have folks like Commissioner Sipe beating that drum and letting us know, when we have to kind of wake up and put some effort and some resources into this. So thank you for that. It was important, and I feel like we're in a position where we're going to be able to get some of that worked out. So that's encouraging as well. So thank you, everybody. That's all I have, and I guess we can move to department reports if there's anybody that wants to give a
Don't
department
forget
head
to
report.
vote, everybody.
Yeah, early voting started. We're only 3 weeks out, basically, from, yeah, actually exactly 3 weeks out from election day proper, but you can vote up until that Friday, right? Saturday the 29th, so right up until really, you know, up to the last second, except for Sunday. So, any department heads? Yes, sir, Mr. Blackburn, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Commission, right now Ed and I are working in conjunction with San Juan Basin Frisbee Club and ATOS in designing a Frisbee golf course out near Tiger Pond.
Cool.
So this got started when we closed the golf course. We had, ATOS had 19 baskets out there and had nowhere to go with them. So we had the land, we put the word out, the San Juan Basin Frisbee Golf Club folks answered, and they're extremely excited. And so we've got a little coalition going on, and this is our initial drawings. Where we're gonna be different from the 5 or 6 other courses we have is we're gonna try to design a pro-style course. That's what these guys with the club are clamoring for, which would have a lot longer throws. So if you're, you know, if you've ever been out with these guys and seen these pros throw, I mean, they can throw 200-300 feet with one Frisbee. It's amazing. So that's what we're offering for them, is lots of land to really stretch out. They're extremely excited. They've already got preliminary plans for events that they hope that will draw folks into our community and provide another opportunity for filling our hotel rooms and getting some economic growth going.
That's great. Cool. Cool. Great.
So, by pro, I'm just sorry, is there like a professional Frisbee league or something? I mean,
Yes.
no kidding.
Yeah,
it's pretty,
big.
really, they're pretty serious about it.
They're staying in hotels to go play Frisbee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I heard that
absolutely
people
do.
played, I just didn't know it was like a pro level.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's pretty hard to find a course that's not dominated by par threes, which is 200 to 300 feet. When you get into these 500 feet throw, you know, par fives, it's amazing. And I think people from around our region will be excited to come and see.
And it's something that you can't get anywhere else, so it's kind of, we're filling a niche potentially, but we can still have the casual Frisbee player go out and try their hand at it as well.
And we've got a commitment from ATOS with the baskets, so there's no cost there. The Frisbee Club is volunteering labor and some materials, so a lot of it can be done on the cheap, fairly,
Nice.
fairly cheap, and provide another recreational activity for our community.
That's exciting. I think anytime we have these smaller groups or advocates coming together and helping each other out, that's the way forward for us, and I think it's great. So to make the most that we can out of the small resources we have, so.
So if you see Ed and I out in the desert just stepping stuff off, we're not,
Not-
taking photo quick, we're measuring out where the holes are.
They are not lost.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, any other department heads want to give a report? All right, hearing none, I will move to adjourn.